Hello guys, this is Amol Khedkar. I welcome you to this video. I'm starting this kind of economic series. You might have seen my earlier video about what exactly is fiat money. Many of you might not even know what exactly does it mean by having a fiat currency. Similarly, many of you might not know how exactly was IMF formed and World Bank was formed. Both these organizations really have done more damage to the entire world than they have helped the world. There is a video on my channel where I talk about why United Nations is completely irrelevant and dangerous to the human existence. So the similar thing applies to IMF and World Bank, both these organizations. And I think this entire post-World War II system, which is the financial system, economic system, should just be dismantled, and a new financial economic order should be constructed so that all the world players can have a fair say into it. In this video, I'm going to talk with you about something called the Bretton Woods Agreement. You might not have heard about this, but this is a very, very important topic if you want to understand world finance. And this will explain you how exactly was International Monetary Fund, which is IMF, and World Bank, both these organizations that shape the world today, were formed. So please don't forget to watch this video right till the end, and also please don't forget to subscribe, because nobody else is going to give you this kind of information, which is literally like a gem. Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. So we'll talk about the Bretton Woods Agreement and system. This is an article from Investopedia, and this is again a new video in my macroeconomics series, where before I have covered what exactly is fiat money or fiat currency. If you have not watched that video, please don't forget to watch it. So, what was the Bretton Woods Agreement and system? The Bretton Woods Agreement was negotiated in July 1944 by delegates from 44 countries at the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference held in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, thus the name Bretton Woods Agreement. Under the Bretton Woods system, gold was the basis for the US dollar and other currencies were pegged to the US dollar's value. The Bretton Woods system effectively came to an end in the early 1970s when President Richard Nixon announced that the US would no longer exchange gold for US currency. So, if you don't know the background of this, right after the Second World War, all these so-called victorious countries met at a place called Bretton Woods, which is in New Hampshire, which is a state in America, which is literally like a New England state, which is on the northeast side of America. So they met over there. They created a system which was existing till 1970s, and in that system the US dollar's value was pegged to the gold. So it was backed by gold, and all the other currencies were pegged to the US dollar. No crisis occurred in the world during that period from 1945 to 1971. Not even a single crisis occurred in the entire world. Why was that? Because US dollar was not a fiat currency by that time. During that time from 1945 to 1971, US dollar was not a fiat currency. Now, if you don't know what exactly is a fiat currency, go and watch my video, and there I've explained in a very detailed fashion what exactly is fiat currency. At that time, US dollar's value was backed by gold, and all the other currencies were pegged to the US dollar, and that's why the entire monetary system, the entire financial system of the world was very, very stable, and no crisis occurred during that time. But the instant President Nixon abolished the gold standard in 1971, which is called the Nixon shock. I will also make another video explaining what exactly is the Nixon shock. But after that happened, the entire world just started collapsing, and the 1970s were like a decade of stagflation, which is like stagnation and inflation combined in America. And since the 1970s and 1980s, the middle class incomes in America have gone down like anything, and that is really the reason why politicians like Trump come into existence. So why I'm making these kind of videos is because you guys need to understand where exactly all these things are coming from. The people who support Trump, I've talked with them. I have lived in the US for 8 years. I've talked with them. I have explored their mind, and they are not bad people. There is also a video on my channel where I say that why I think Trump is going to win again in 2020. So I explore the topic in a very detailed fashion in that video. So go and watch that video. So really need to understand what exactly is the backstory of this if you want to understand the full picture. The Bretton Woods Agreement and System explained. Approximately 730 delegates representing 44 countries met in Bretton Woods in July 1944 with the principal goals of creating an efficient foreign exchange system, preventing competitive devaluations of currencies, and promoting international economic growth. The Bretton Woods Agreement and System were central to these goals. The Bretton Woods Agreement also created two important organizations, International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank. Many of you might have heard about both these organizations. Many of you might have also heard about foreign exchange system, devaluations of currencies, and promoting international economic growth. But most of these things are completely failed at this stage in the world politics. While the Bretton Woods system was dissolved in the 1970s, both the IMF and World Bank have remained strong pillars for the exchange of international currencies. I don't agree with this statement in Investopedia. Both IMF and World Bank are completely flawed organizations, and both of them should be dismantled. That is my honest opinion. Um, we'll look further. Though the Bretton Woods conference itself took place over just 3 weeks, the preparations for it had been going on for several years. The primary designers of the Bretton Woods system were the famous British economist John Maynard Keynes. I will also make a video about explaining why exactly I like Keynes. This person, John Maynard Keynes, is a very, very important economist in the 20th century. And, he was the person who formulated the Bretton Woods system. And he was, very, very concerned about having fiat currencies. So, he said that until he is alive, he will never even let any fiat currency take its root in the worldwide stage. So this was one person, an American chief international economist of the US Treasury Department, Harry Dexter White. Keynes' hope was to establish a powerful global central bank to be called a clearing union and issue a new international reserve currency called a Bancor. So Keynes, like John Maynard Keynes, his hope was to establish a powerful global central bank to be called a clearing union and issue a new international reserve currency called a Bancor. This person wanted to have an international reserve currency called a Bancor with a powerful global central bank called a clearing union. White's plan envisioned a more modest lending fund and a greater role for the US dollar rather than the creation of a new currency. So because this guy White, Harry White, he was representing America, that's why as always is the case, America just bullies everybody else and does what it wants. So White's plan was he wanted like a more greater role for the US dollar rather than creation of a new currency. In the end, the adopted plan took ideas from both, leaning toward more towards White's plans. So as you can see here, the roots of the current economic chaos are planted in 1944. If you really want to understand what is happening in the world today, you need to understand the history, because most of the leaders in China, they study 5000 years of Chinese history, and only then they understand how to govern China. So as you can see here, if the Bretton Woods system had agreed to the proposals of John Maynard Keynes, we would not be in this mess. Because the Americans, as always, they like to bully and they like to just get their way no matter what. So this person called Harry White, he created this kind of system where the US dollar had like a hegemonic role and all the other currencies were pegged to the US dollar. So the instant US dollar was cut off from the gold, all the other currencies started floating. And why did Nixon take the US dollar off of gold? Because of the Vietnam War. So I will also discuss the Nixon shock in an upcoming video, but I just wanted to give you a brief idea about it. It wasn't until 1958 that the Bretton Woods system became fully functional. Once implemented, its provisions called for the US dollar to be pegged to the value of gold. Moreover, all other currencies in the system were then pegged to the US dollar's value. The exchange rate applied at the time set the price of gold at $35 an ounce. So the key takeaways are like the Bretton Woods Agreement and system created a collective international currency exchange regime that lasted from the mid 1940s to the early 1970s. The Bretton Woods system required a currency pegged to the US dollar, which was in turn pegged to the price of gold. The Bretton Woods system collapsed in the 1970s but created a lasting influence on international currency exchange and trade through its development of the IMF and the World Bank. Now, the benefits of the Bretton Woods currency pegging. To be honest with you, I don't think there are any benefits of pegging the currency of every country to US dollar. But let's see what are the benefits. Bretton Woods system included 44 countries. These countries were brought together to help regulate and promote international trade across borders. As with the benefits of all currency pegging regimes, currency pegs are expected to provide currency stabilization for trade of goods and services as well as financing. So this was what was intended, but to be honest, none of this has ever been achieved. The ground reality is very different. All of the countries in the Bretton Woods system agreed to a fixed peg against the US dollar with divergence of only 1% allowed. Countries were required to monitor and maintain their currency pegs, which they achieved primarily by using their currency to buy or sell US dollars as needed. The Bretton Woods system therefore minimized international currency exchange rate volatility, which helped international trade relations. More stability in foreign currency exchange was also a factor for the successful support of loans and grants internationally from the World Bank. So the IMF and the World Bank, both these organizations are seriously flawed, and they are very outdated. You might not know, but more money goes from the poorer nations to the rich nations on an yearly basis than what is given as aid from the rich nations to the poor nations. So that's why what this IMF and World Bank, both these institutions, ensure is that the poorer countries will remain poorer for longer periods of time and the richer countries will keep on getting richer. So this is the exact role of IMF and World Bank in today's world. It's not that they want to help the poorer countries in Africa or in Asia or in Latin America, but they just want to keep the rich countries richer. The Bretton Woods Agreement created two Bretton Woods institutions, the IMF and the World Bank. Formally introduced in December 1945, both institutions have withstood this test of time globally, serving as important pillars for international capital financing and trade activities. The purpose of the IMF was to monitor exchange rates and identify nations that needed global monetary support. The World Bank, initially called the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which was IBRD, was established to manage funds available for providing assistance to countries that had been physically and financially devastated by World War II. In the 21st century, the IMF has 189 member countries and still continues to support global monetary cooperation. Tandemly, it means that simultaneously the World Bank helps to promote these efforts through its loans and grants to governments. So even America practices this kind of debt-based diplomacy. They give loans to many countries, and then they tell those countries that they want their resources in return. So the same kind of diplomacy that China agrees to, that exact same thing America also has been doing for a long period of time. And you might have heard about a term called economic hitman. This is a very controversial term, and there's a person called John Perkins who has published a book called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I really recommend that book to anybody who wants to understand the system. And in that, he is telling specifically how America, devalues the currencies of global countries by sending in corporations. The Bretton Woods systems collapse. So why did the system collapse? In 1971, concerned that the US gold supply was no longer adequate to cover the number of dollars in circulation, President Richard Nixon devalued the US dollar relative to gold. After a run on gold reserve, he declared temporary suspension of the dollar's convertibility into gold. So this was a temporary suspension of the dollar's convertibility into gold in 1971, where Nixon gave a televised address. That address is still available on the internet. You can go and watch it. By 1973, the Bretton Woods system had collapsed. Countries were then free to choose any exchange arrangement for their currency except pegging its value to the price of gold. So this is a very important thing. Like, countries were then free to choose any exchange agreement arrangement for their currency except pegging their value to the price of gold. So they don't want the countries to peg their value to the price of gold. Why? Because gold is a reserve currency. Gold has stood the test of time for 5,000 years. But they just wanted to They just wanted countries to peg their value to US dollar, so that as US dollar comes up and goes down, so do the all the other currencies in the entire world. They could, for example, link its value to another country's currency or a basket of currencies, or simply let it float freely and allow market forces to determine its value relative to other countries' currencies. So this is a very maddeningly insane thing that happened after the Bretton Woods agreement collapsed, and that is, I think, the root cause of the so much discontent in the Western world and all over the world. Why are people so angry? If you want to understand the real reason behind these things, you really need to understand economics. Because many major things in the world are directly linked to economics, nothing else. The Bretton Woods Agreement remains a significant event in world financial history. The two Bretton Woods institutions it created in the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank played an important part in helping to rebuild Europe in the aftermath of World War II. Subsequently, both institutions have continued to maintain their founding goals while also transitioning to serve global government interests in the modern day. So, I really don't think IMF and World Bank are doing anything that is highlighted over here, because all they are doing is they are just protecting the interests of the big corporations and the major countries in the world, particularly the US interests in many parts of the world, and they are literally hijacking the natural resources and the wealth of poorer countries to the advantage of the richer countries. So if you really don't know, more money goes from the poorer countries to the rich countries in the form of aid, then comes from the rich countries to the poor countries. This is a maddeningly insane thing that has been happening in the entire world for the past 20-25 years, and that is really the reason why income inequality has skyrocketed in today's times. So I'll stop talking here. If you learn something new about the Bretton Woods Agreement and the system, how World Bank and IMF were formed, and why exactly you should understand the root causes of things rather than just relying on the media to tell you what exactly is happening. Because let's be honest, the media in India or in any part of the world are completely biased from both sides. So even if you are from the right or the left, both of these media organizations in the entire world are very biased, and they give you the information that they have an interest in. They don't give you the exact kind of information, because information is power. And that's why I've started this channel, because I wanted to give you guys the real truth of what exactly is happening in the world, and what are the causes that I think are really responsible for what the chaos that is happening in the world. So if you like my analysis and if you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos like these. I guarantee you will not find these kind of detailed analysis of worldwide financial topics anywhere else on the internet. I guarantee you that. So please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.